Welcome back to I've Got Something to Tell You with Tayler and
Colleen.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a really long time, even though it's been a week.
I was literally, when I was driving over, I was like, when's the last time I saw her? And then I realized, yeah, it's just been a week.
I know, because we talked for like 20 minutes before we hit record, and
Yeah.
we were like, we should have just hit record.
Yeah. Bravo catch up per usual.
I know, because our last Bravo catch up was like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I was just But it's fine. I mean, if you don't like Bravo, you can always skip ahead.
Exactly.
It usually only lasts 10 minutes or less.
Yeah.
But sometimes we got a lot to talk about.
Mhm.
There's a lot on right now. So
Yeah. And the reunions are happening. So,
yeah.
well, at least Salt Lake City.
Yeah. So that one's on Friday, I think, right? So you guys will hear about it next episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. Really quick though, on the last reunion episode of Salt Lake City, when Meredith was just like, is that real cheese?
That was my favorite thing because, again, it's just like they kind of do her dirty because she's so glazed over and she's just like staring at it. But I was also like, same. If they're like, can we eat it?
Yeah. She's like, can I take a bite of that? It was so funny though. I love her.
Yeah. I go back and forth with Meredith.
Yeah. I feel like she doesn't really like put it all out there.
She doesn't add anything, but she doesn't take anything away.
Yeah.
Like,
I still think she's funny.
like when she chimes in, it's great. But at the same time, otherwise she's just out of it.
Well, I feel like she has to have like friends or something, or they have to be like in a good place when they're filming. Otherwise, like this whole season, she was shut down. So yeah, we didn't really get anything from her. But I don't know. We have to see what happens next season.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she's even going to return.
Yeah, I heard something about, because I think it was on like one of the first episode of the reunion. They did like a montage of the OGs, which people are thinking that it means one of the OGs is leaving.
Oh.
Which I could do without Whitney.
I don't think she'll leave.
She
needs that money, girl.
I was going to say, yeah, but if my vote went to anybody, it might go to Whitney.
Yeah, she does. She bugs me. I don't like when she like gets confrontational, whatever, but she'll like grab people, and I don't like that. I feel like that's really aggressive, and for her to be like so healed, it's just like, that's not what a healed person would do. Hilled. So irritating. Also, when Heather was like, what kind of piece of shit person would record? And then did you see like Whitney realizing that she called her a piece of shit?
Well, and Heather's recorded too.
Yeah, in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Which is so rude.
Yeah.
Let Lisa look for her
honestly
$1 million ring or whatever it was.
I would love to see Heather on a season without Whitney, because then it'd
be her own person.
Yes.
Yeah. She just, I did not like her this season. She was very accusatory, very big bully energy. Did not like that.
I think after like season 1 of her becoming like the fan favorite, she like has taken that like every season, and like she tries to be really funny in her interviews. Confessionals. And sometimes I'm just like, girl, that's not
funny.
Like, it's not landing.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
I will say, sorry, I know you're an Angie K fan. I think she's a mean girl.
This season, towards the end, I started noticing that too. But I feel like she's being influenced by Heather and Whitney.
Okay.
Because, well, I can't remember though what they told her to say, and then she said it, but she's like, no, that's not why I said it. But it's just like, girl, that's why you said it. Like, they told you to, and they were setting you up.
Yeah, she gives like reformed mean girl, but then like the reformed part is like going out the window, and she's just being straight mean girl. Because I will never get the comment she made about Lisa's ankles is one of the meanest comments I've ever heard on. Like,
yeah, that was mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, you don't have to talk about people's looks.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
Too far.
Also, when she talked about her like facelift, like looking like a wind tunnel or something, it's just like, chill. Jeez.
And then she said something about Meredith being like
Oh, a trampoline with eyes?
And she's like, that's a compliment. And I was like,
what does that even mean?
Flat-faced.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Yeah, I feel like it's like, they're funny to an extent. Like, I feel like when Angie and Lisa fight, they actually make me laugh because it's stupid.
It's so
Until
stupid.
It gets into the, like, you don't have to, like, go after someone's, like, body and face and looks and everything like that.
That was my problem with her.
Yeah.
Mary can do no wrong in my eyes, though.
I love Mary.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, I'm like, sorry. When they did that play in Greece, when it got to her turn, she was almost like, I feel like she laughed at everybody else's and was like, you are. But then when it got to her, she's like, I do really feel like she thinks she's like godly. And it's like, girlfriend, you are not.
I agree.
You're funny. You have some good advice, but also accountability, man. Everybody's got to have it.
Yes, 100% agree. But like, I also think like Mary's also always going to be that way.
Oh, for sure. And she's not going to change.
Yeah. And like, sometimes like, I think she's saying something and she's like, yeah, I was joking. But then it's like, nobody else in the room understood you were joking. And
yeah. Well, she even made
she's had some of the darkest comments towards women.
Oh, yeah. She's Heather inbred.
Yeah.
But also, like, an old clip showed up where when she was like, Heather, what were you thinking when you wore that necklace? And she's just like, what? It looks like I was going for this. And she's like, you didn't do it. Or
it didn't land.
Yeah, it didn't land. See, those ones, I die.
And I think sometimes there's a level of just like, Mary, don't come for me. But also, Mary, if you listen to this podcast,
Mary, come for me. I want to hear it. That would be iconic.
Listen, it's a dream to be insulted by Mary.
I would love to be insulted by her.
But there's a level of like, she's so unaware of like what even comes out of her mouth. Like it just like, there are people that have like zero filter. But at the same time, like when she says something that's nice, she genuinely means it.
Yeah. I like when she does that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I like her mean comments too.
Yeah.
I just meant, I'm like, girl, you're not God.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, sorry. We were like, we're not going to go down a Bravo spiral. And we did. Yeah. But whatever. It's our podcast.
Had talked about a different show for 20 minutes before that. So.
That is true. Before we get into our stories, we just want to remind everyone we have a live, I was going to say a story, a live show February 13th, Friday the 13th. Colleen picked that on purpose.
Well, we're at Jared's again, and we were lucky that it was open. It was kind of like
nobody else wanted this date?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We'll take it. Friday the 13th is my favorite day. I got married on a Friday the 13th. Try and keep.
She likes her 13s.
Yes. And I try and convince my husband that every Friday the 13th should be our anniversary, yet it has not worked out for me.
You should be celebrated every 13th.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I agree.
But anyway, it's at 6 p.m. Jared's in Mesa. Mm-hmm. So please come.
Yeah.
The last one was really fun.
And it's right before Valentine's Day, so we might have a little like bloody Valentine's Day theme going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also Jared's specials in February look. Oh wait, no, they are delicious. They had them when we were at our last show. So good. I had like a strawberry caramel, some kind of coffee.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
our second home. We like to always.
We love Jared's.
Yeah. It's our favorite.
It is.
Well, we love all of them, but Jared's is where we started. Sorry.
We've only been in 2. We love them both.
Yes. Very deeply.
Anyway, should we get into our
story? Cut that, Norman. Yeah, let's get into our stories. Awkward pause.
Like, so anyway,
bottle shop never calls us again.
They're all like, what the fuck?
So Tayler, I've got something to tell you. Tonight I'm doing a survivor story.
Yes.
Okay, so I've covered survivors before, and like so many of these, which I love, because obviously we want people.
Survive.
Yes, but this one literally got me in such a way because not only were the people who did this, like, they are true evil, but this woman is a literal angel on earth who fought through what every single doctor or just anyone who will hear this said should have absolutely killed her. Just going to go into it. I'm going to tell you the story of Alison Botha.
Okay.
This case takes place in South Africa in 1994, where 27-year-old Alison Botha was living a normal but lovely life. On December 18th, 1994, which December is summer in South Africa. Fun fact.
Interesting.
It's like New Zealand. Same thing. Different hemispheres. So December 18th, 1994, she described the day as just being one of those great summer days. She went to the beach with friends. Oh, sorry. This is a survivor story. I'm going to use a lot of her own words to talk about what happened. So just
FYI.
Yeah.
Okay.
This did a lot of research on this, but I figured the best storyteller is the person that it happened to.
I love quotes.
Yeah. So she described the day as being just one of those great summer days. She went to the beach with friends. When they got home, they ordered pizza. And then as they closed out the night, she drove herself home, stopping at a friend's house really quick because she had to pick up some clothes. She arrives back at her house around evening time. It's dark outside, and starts to open her door when she feels a cold knife placed across her neck and a man's voice telling her to slide over or he'll kill her.
Ew.
She slides over and thinks if she just complies, it'll be a robbery or something like that. Like, just do what he says.
Yeah.
The man drives her car for a while when it suddenly stops and a second man gets into the car. And once that second man gets into the car, she describes it as like the atmosphere changed immediately. They very much knew each other. This was very much coordinated, and these men had a plan. It was almost like they had done it before. They continue to drive, and at one point she hears one of them use the other guy's name. She hears Franz, and she clocks that immediately. Later, she hears the other name, Toons, and clocks that too. Toons. It's... Some of these names are really difficult. I also don't give a shit how I pronounce these names because these men are scum. So, sorry, that was
just
very...
never heard it before.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like...
Franz and Toons.
Yeah. They're scumbags, so if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I don't care. But I said, good fucking girl. Remember those names. So she doesn't remember how far or how long they drove for, but eventually the two men turn off the main road into this blacked out, secluded rural area. That's when one of the men get out of the car, and the man still in the car begins to assault her in multiple, and I could only describe it as aggressive ways. After the first man finishes, he turns to the other man, opens the door, and says, "Would you like to have sex with the lovely lady?" The other guy responds in a repulsive way. I will let you use your imagination. And the first guy is like, "Don't talk to her like that." That is so grotesque to me because they're literally debating language while actively brutalizing her.
Yeah. What?
So the second man gets into the car, proceeds to also assault Alison. After that, they pull her out of the car. I'm just going to give trigger warnings throughout this. Again, she told her own story, so I'm using the words she chose to use. So the violence escalates in a way that I don't really have words to describe, but they begin to stab her over and over again. She feels them stab and slice her neck and repeatedly attack all over her stomach. Later, doctors would say they've never seen that level of injury inflicted on a single person and still be alive.
Jeez.
They stabbed her over 37 times, and both men had taken turns slitting her throat.
Oh my God.
The men eventually stopped, certain they had killed her. She even said they heard them debating Is that enough? And one of them says, nobody could survive that. They get into their car, they throw Alison's clothes out of their car and drive away, assuming they have left this woman alone and just waiting to die.
Mm-hmm.
What Alison describes next is a total shift. She said she could hear herself breathing in these like low, raspy breaths, and she could see the area around her. But then all of a sudden that noise goes away and she has this feeling of being pulled up from her body into this like silent peacefulness. As this is happening, she realizes that she's looking down at her own body laying on the ground.
Oh, dang.
In this moment of what she said was serenity, looking at herself motionless, she has a feeling this is when she has to make a choice. Is she going to let go or fight? And she decides she's going to fucking fight.
Heck yeah.
So she just makes that decision. And that's when she says the noise comes back. That's when she realizes she's back in her body. She hears her breathing in those low rasps. She sees her surroundings and knows that she's back in her body. And now that she's back, her first thought is, I am not going to let these guys do this to another person. She takes her finger and she writes both men's names in the dirt beside her. She thinks, if I can't make it out of here, if they find my body, at least like the first questions are like, who did this?
Yeah.
She's like, I'll leave the answers.
Dang.
She also writes one more thing in case they are the last words that she can leave behind. And she writes, I love mom.
Oh, don't make me cry.
You might cry. Sorry, not you might. If you don't, but I'm just saying, this one is really rough, but it really is beautiful. Now she is going to try and move. So she decides she's going to crawl to her clothes that they left behind. But she quickly realizes that crawling isn't sustainable because of the injuries to her stomach. Her insides are falling out.
Oh my God.
Yes. So she knows if she's going to go anywhere, she has to stand. And somehow, from somewhere, she gets the strength to stand on her feet. And when she stands, she realizes something is wrong. She knows she's standing, but she's looking directly up at the sky. And then she understands why.
Mm-hmm.
Her neck had been cut so badly, her head had fallen backwards when she stood up.
Oh my God.
Yes. So now she has to securely hold her stomach, and she has to also place one hand on her head so that she can see forward and straight in front of her.
That's wild. She can even do that. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, this woman is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So now she knows she has to walk, and if she has any hope of living. She's standing there barely conscious, severely injured, and still trying to orient herself to reality. And she's just like, all I was doing was just willing my body to start moving. She then says it felt like someone just took over her body, like her mind had stepped aside and something more primal was driving her. She remembers nothing of that walk. That as soon as whatever it was that took over her, she was like being drawn to something, and she just came to and realized she was at a road.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And she just collapses in the middle of the road. In her telling her own story, she goes, I just laid there in the middle of the road thinking, what's the worst that could happen at this point? A car runs over me?
Yeah.
So a car approaches. It slows down, and she has a thought, like, this could actually be the guys. And she starts kind of freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
But the car ends up just slowing down and driving around her.
What?
Yes. And we heard this, remember, in Mary Vincent, the very first one I told you.
Oh, because they got freaked out.
Well, and Mary Vincent said that she didn't blame the people because she was like, I
remember that.
Yeah. I will say Alison did not have any words for the first car, but if it were me, okay. Sorry, I'm going to take a step back because I'm not going to try and blame people. It's probably very scary, but at least try and like.
I think it's wild to drive by someone laying bloody in the road.
Exactly.
That's my opinion. I don't care if I offend anybody. Okay. Call 911, let them deal with it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing also. It was in 1994. And so cell phones weren't like
super popular.
Exactly. And I will say the person that does help her was meant to be the person that helps her. So another car comes up on Alison and out of it comes a 21-year-old veterinary student, Tayler. He runs over to her. He immediately sees how serious her condition is. They interview him and he was like, she opened her eyes to look at me and they were just all bloody. And he goes, I just told her, you have beautiful eyes and keep looking at me. And so luckily one of his friends have a cell phone, which again, 1994, they're extremely lucky that they have one. And they call the hospital. Tian recalled that the closest hospital was about 15 minutes away, but it took over 30 minutes for an ambulance to show up.
Dang.
All the while, he is laying on the ground. He's covered Alison with his own shirt, and he's just holding her hand, telling her everything is going to be okay. He's trying to keep her awake so that she doesn't fall asleep. Like, he's just talking to her. I read that they came up with like some sort of code so that like she could answer yes or no questions where she would just like squeeze his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He also rides with her to the hospital, and he remembers that they were driving too slow and asking if they could drive faster. And he was like, it had almost felt like they had made the decision that she wasn't going to survive. So it was like, what was the point?
Okay.
But Alison gets to the hospital, and so nobody in that ER was expecting her to be alive. A junior doctor intakes her, and then immediately they call in like the senior doctor. And I'm probably using the wrong phrases, but whatever. So senior doctor comes in and he's going to examine her and determine who needs to fix what.
Mm-hmm.
They start with what they can see first, which is the neck. So he walks in and she's covered from like clavicle bone down.
Mm-hmm.
And so he can see her neck. And her throat has been cut so badly that just keeping her airway intact is its own fight. So he's just like, we don't even know how we're going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the junior doctor who took her in, he's like, oh no, that's not all. And he lightly pulls down the sheet that's covering her body. And her abdomen had been cut open so severely, again, that her internal organs had been exposed. She had defensive wounds on her hands and arms. Her body was covered in lacerations, puncture wounds. And on top of all that, her injuries were contaminated with dirt and debris from where she had been left in the field.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor said it literally felt unreal. He was like, how is this girl still breathing? And what was he going to do to make sure she stayed still breathing? So the hospital goes into full emergency mode. Multiple surgical teams are called in. One team focuses on her throat and airway. Another team works on her abdominal injuries, but she's immediately put in surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And when she comes out of them, she's barely holding on, but she survives these surgeries. Later, when surgeons tried to make sense of how she was still alive, they would say the same thing over and over again. It was a miracle. Mm-hmm. They're like, we could talk about science all day, but nothing else makes sense that this was a freaking miracle.
Yeah.
Because the blade that cut her throat missed all the important arteries by millimeters. If those arteries had been severed, she would have died instantly. The cuts on her neck missed the structures that control breathing and speech just enough that her airway could still be saved and that she would be able to talk again.
Mm-hmm.
The stab wounds in her abdomen somehow avoided every vital organ that should have been hit. One doctor said that medically speaking, it was almost as if her body had been threaded through a series of lethal blows without crossing the final line.
Crazy.
It's insane. So now, immediately out of surgery, that's when the police walk into her hospital room. So she just gets out of surgery and the police are in her face and they pull up a folder of pictures, all of men, asking her to identify her assailants. She can't talk. And like, also, this is hours after she's probably still trying to realize she's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
But also they're just shoving pictures of men in her face. Yeah. Like, how re-traumatizing. But guess fucking what? Alison points out 2 pictures.
Dumbass 1 and Dumbass 2?
Yeah, Jackass and Jackass 2. She even writes down their names for the police to prove she knows exactly who they are.
Crazy.
So you think she could finally rest, yes?
I would hope so, but I know she...
Nope. I was going to say no. Yeah. The police come back in and the doctors are horrified by what they're about to ask them. The prosecution tells them that the case would be much stronger if Alison can verbally describe what happened and say her attackers' names out loud. So Alison has just had major reconstructive surgery on her throat. There is a tube in her airway that is literally protecting the work that the surgeons just did.
Wait, how much stronger does the case need to be? Like, she identified them, like...
I'm going to get into another insane part.
Okay. I just had to say that.
I'm telling you, this is like wild. So she has a tube down her throat that's protecting everything. Like, the work that they just did, like, stitches don't just like stitch you up. They have to settle. And so if they remove that tube too early, it could undo everything that they just did. She could start bleeding. She could lose her airway. She could literally die. So the senior doctor sits down with her and he explains the risk. And there's a documentary about this. Again, I think I mentioned that up top. Maybe I didn't. But where I know I mentioned it later. Spoiler alert.
What is it called?
Allison.
Oh, okay.
And they interview the doctor that was like in charge of her treatment. And he can't talk about this without like tearing up. Like the fact that he had to go in and tell her that they're basically saying we can't prosecute these guys without you risking your life again. So he sits down with her and he explains the risk that you're putting your life at risk again. He tells her what it could mean if they take the tube out. Alison obviously cannot speak, so she writes down, "Take it out."
Dang.
So they do. And she survives. Alison's first words after her attack, after fighting with everything she had to survive, after the surgeries, she proudly says, "My attackers were Franz and Toons." And from that moment on, everything moves fast. So Franz and Thumbnail, I don't know, at this point, are arrested not long after. Franz is brought in first to be booked, and when he's told he's being arrested on charges of kidnapping, rape, and attempted murder, he asks why, and the officer answers him, "Because Alison is alive." The officer describes this as like, I have never seen such a like evil person shed like all emotion in one spot. Like, I've just been caught.
Yeah.
And so Franz basically doesn't argue, but he takes off a ring and hands it to the officer and says, "This belongs to Alison." Later, the ring is tested and Alison's blood is on it. So they determine it belonged to Alison.
So he took one of her rings?
He took one of her rings because he thought she was dead. That's why they also said their names in front of her. That's why.
No, I think it's just weird that he took like a woman's ring.
Not really.
Like, how's it fit you have sausage fingers?
I mean, maybe he wears it on his pinky. He's also a pretty thin guy.
Whatever. He's stupid.
Yeah, he sucks. He's going to suck a lot more, too. Franz, in particular, sucks the most. They both. Okay.
They both do.
Yeah. Okay, so...
And really quick, sorry. Men can wear women's jewelry.
Yeah,
in this case, I'm just talking shit about the guy.
No, yeah. No, I get it.
It's like, hold on, let me clear that up really quick.
Yes. For him to hand it over was almost like, I don't know. I don't know what that signifies for him to like hand it over. It felt very like callous to me. Or it felt like give it back to her and let her know like I took it from her kind of thing. Like, I don't know
that I know or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
like he is a scumbag. Doesn't even go far enough to describe this man. Okay, so the case moves forward. Another part in the identification process that is specific to South Africa at the time is that the only way they truly accepted identifying a perpetrator was to actually have the victim physically stand next to the perpetrator, place a hand on them, and be photographed together as proof of identification.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. That's crazy.
1994. So basically, they were asking Alison, who had just survived unimaginable violence, to physically touch the men who did it to her. So Alison's prosecuting officer said, absolutely not. And he comes up with the idea to have a plexiglass one-way mirror between Alison and a lineup so she can safely identify the men that attacked her, meaning they're going to have like what we see today, a lineup. I don't know if this was like the first of its kind, but it was the first in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
But she identifies them immediately. She did talk about, though, that even though, yes, this was a safer environment for her, she wanted out of that room immediately. It was a very small room. She was still too close to them. It was very traumatizing for her. So, like, another level of bravery for her to be able to do that. Like, thank goodness they didn't have her have to go physically touch them. But still, because it's just like they're not in prison yet. It's just like there's probably always going to be like an illogical, like, are they going to get me? Or, you know? Can they actually see me? No matter how many times they say they can't see you, it's like they're
staring right at the plexiglass.
Exactly.
Too.
Yeah. And as the investigation into these two scumbags deepens, the police start to realize something much more disturbing. Franz and Toons weren't first-time offenders. They were linked to a series of rapes in the region. So there were attacks with similar patterns, the extreme brutality, and they were only escalating. The media eventually gave them a name, the Ripper Rapists, which makes one thing even more terrifying. If Alison hadn't lived, if she hadn't remembered their names, and if she hadn't walked out of that field, they would have kept going.
Yeah.
They were leaving no survivors. So the trial begins, and it's a media circus. Alison described that as being the hardest part, because suddenly her story wasn't just hers anymore. The media latched onto it, and she talks about how violating that felt in a different way, because she had barely begun to process what had happened to her. And also keep in mind, she's still recovering from all of the injuries that happened to her. She had to go in every single day for treatment. She had to go in multiple times to the police department so that they could take photos of how her wounds were like healing, just to get across with the prosecutor of like how deep this like attack was, how violating that was to her. And again,
like reliving it every single day.
Exactly. And also it's her body. So like she's having them like poke and prod her on very sensitive regions, and to constantly relive that every single day.
And she was like raped twice. So it's like you're already feeling violated.
Exactly. Yeah. And they talk about it and they're just like, whatever we needed, she did. But like, God, like
she did what she had to do, but obviously like that was a lot.
Yeah. But she talks about the media and just feeling like violated because it felt like the world felt entitled to her story before she could even process it herself. Mm-hmm. So when the verdict comes, the court finds Franz and Toons guilty on multiple charges, including kidnapping, rape, and attempted murder. I feel like we need something in between attempted and like practical murder, because they if she hadn't fought, she would have died.
Yeah.
So they are sentenced to life imprisonment with a special note from the judge that they should never get the chance of parole. And Alison says something that really stuck with me. She says the sentencing wasn't a celebration because no matter what the judge said, no matter how long they were sentenced for, these men had already taken something from her that no court could give back. So while they're behind bars after the trial, Alison doesn't just go back to normal life. She moves back in with her mother. She openly talks about falling into a very deep depression. And for a while, she's like, I didn't feel heroic. Everybody wanted me to be this heroine for them. And she was like, I just felt tired.
Yeah.
There's one moment, though, she describes that felt like a turning point. She's alone at home one day, and she remembers that moment in the field, the moment where she had the choice to let go or fight, and she realizes something. She did not survive by accident. She chose to. Not once, but over and over again. So not long after that, she receives an invitation from a Rotary Club to speak about her experience.
What's a Rotary Club?
I'm not sure. It kind of sounds like a women's club.
Okay.
Yeah. So she talks about how public speaking was not her thing. So it was another fear she had.
Girl.
Yeah. Relatable queen. She was not someone who imagined herself on a stage telling strangers the worst thing that had ever happened to her. But she agrees to do it. And something unexpected happens. She realizes that telling her story gives her a sense of control over it. So she's taking the control back.
I love that.
I know. Speaking becomes part of her healing, but it's not like an inspirational speech. She talks about what she went through very raw and getting uncomfortable and honest. She's not trying to turn what happened into a motivational slogan. Mm-hmm. She's trying to understand it as she's telling it, which I love.
Yeah.
She continues to go on to be a very successful public speaker, being booked internationally, and she even gets an offer for a documentary to be made about her survival, a doc that she could tell her own story.
That's awesome.
Here's where it gets bad again.
Oh, no.
Alison is notified that the men who attacked her could be up for parole, which shocks everyone.
What?
Yes.
That's insane.
So I was very confused by this because, I feel, okay, very confused, but I looked it up. So legally in South Africa, judges decide guilt and sentence length. So the judge at the time said that they were guilty and that they had life sentences. But the Department of Correctional Services and parole boards decide parole eligibility. So despite the judge's comment about parole being they should never be paroled, the law allows the system to basically review their eligibility decades later.
Wait, but question really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they link them with other murders, though? Were there murders or were they assaults?
They were murders and assaults.
And they still got parole? Multiple murders? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that come up for parole that absolutely should not, but I don't know. I'm not in charge of it. If I was.
That's insane.
Yeah. So news gets out that these men are up for parole. Something even stranger happens. Alison receives a letter from a woman who introduces herself as Franz's new fiance. And the letter is basically begging Alison to be like, stop fighting the parole. Like, Franz has a new man and he deserves to be out.
Okay, delusional.
So, her name was Delulu. Just kidding.
Might as well have been.
Franz and Delulu, that actually makes sense.
It does.
Okay, so Alison brings the letter to authorities. She writes email to them being like, this is absolutely inappropriate. Like, you know, I don't know exactly what the email says. Mine would be strongly worded. Alison seems like a much nicer person than me. But instead of protecting Alison, the police print her email and hand it to Franz in prison.
What? That's crazy.
I'm telling you, this is the craziest story. So now the man who has tried to kill her has access to her words again. And if that's not enough for you, Franz finds out about the documentary and requests to be interviewed for it. In exchange for his screen time, he has demands. He wants a signed letter of apology from Alison.
Oh my God.
He also asks for a share of her speaking engagements. The reasoning is because she wouldn't have a success story without him.
Oh my God. That piece of shit.
I'm telling you, the rage I felt.
Yeah.
And if you think that's bad enough, these guys get freaking out.
Why? That's so crazy to me.
In July of 2023, Franz and...
Wait, 2023?
2023!
That's so stupid.
You're going to be pissed in this.
Like, I thought, like, South Africa would at least grow up. Grow up! What are you doing?
Name of the episode, Grow Up, South Africa.
Oh, just kidding. I'm not kidding. It's fucked up, man.
So, Franz and Toons were released on parole. And people freak the fuck out. Like,
as they should.
Yeah. Like, they are like, what are we doing as a society? How do you let men like this back out? How do you tell a survivor just to live with that hanging over their head? Like, that is horrifying to me.
Yeah.
So on February 4th of 2025, South Africa's Minister of Correctional Services canceled their parole. They're like, oopsie daisy. And both men are returned to prison. But here's the part that's really important, because this is not the system corrected itself. This was the system admitting that they made a decision, watching what that decision did to the survivor and to the society, and then reversing it after they realized that that decision was wrong.
Like, and you know they didn't care about the survivor. Oh, they cared about like the backlash of everybody else.
Alison had one response that was through her attorney, was basically, I can finally breathe. So as of February 2025, both men are back behind bars. Both are alive. Here's what I find fucking interesting. Authorities will not release the precise prison locations for these men because in high-profile violent crime cases, it is a security and safety issue for them.
For them. Oh, poor them.
Oh, my God.
That's insane. But they're like, but the victim, we'll see.
Let's just see how it plays out.
But them, protect them at all costs.
Listen, she survived once. Like,
South Africa, get it together.
My God. So obviously I'm not going to end on these scumbags. They're both back in jail, but I'm going to end on the fact that this is Alison's story. Just to also put into perspective how absolutely like magnificent she is. She had such an outpouring of letters and support while she was in the hospital that she was so nervous that she wasn't going to be able to thank everybody individually. So she took out a ad in the newspaper to write a letter to them. Oh my gosh. I know.
That's like so sweet.
I just was like, girl.
Yeah. Like, you're amazing.
Alison now is now a mother of 2 sons that she carried herself. Another amazing thing, because her injuries should have never let her have children. They also said that the men specifically targeted areas in order to make sure of that.
Disgusting.
She continues to speak and inspire others by not glamorizing her story, but taking the approach of what she calls the ABCs: attitude, belief, and choice. And she applies that to any struggle someone is facing. She's never minimizing what somebody's going through in the face of what she went through. So it's like everybody's struggle is real to her. She's raw about depression and fear that still creeps in, and that she's human. She survived, but the hardest part was making sure that she continued to live. People like to ask Alison Botha how she survived. They want some extraordinary answers, some philosophical explanation, some spiritual revelation. But when Alison talks about that night, she simply says, "I have life." One thing I want to note about, like, we reference Alison as a miracle is, like, people pray for miracles. She didn't pray for this. Like, nobody would want this. And yes, there were things that were, for lack of a better phrase, lucky. Like, she did this. She made her own miracle. So, like, while I use the phrase several times throughout the podcast, that was something I wanted to note. It's like,
no, that makes sense. Yeah. She went through it. She had to, like, get up and fight for it. I get what you're saying.
Nobody did it for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the incredible and horrifying survival story of Alison Botha.
I loved that. You did such a good job telling it.
Thank you.
I was so, like into it.
Yeah, that one, I highly recommend watching the documentary.
I know, I kind of want to.
I will warn you, like, there are some images that I'll never unsee. But it's important to see them because of what she went through.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else, but no, that was a really good story.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a break and then we'll get into my story. And we are back.
We're back.
And Colleen, I've got something to tell you. Like I said, we're going to keep it light. We're going to balance out the stories today. I am going to tell you the story of Betty and Barney Hill, their abduction story.
Okay.
We're talking aliens, man.
Love that.
Me too. I wasn't ready to get right into, because I was between two. And well, I was between this story, like the alien abduction, and I was like full on like Exorcist.
Okay.
So,
okay. You were saying you weren't ready to get into something. So I'm assuming Exorcist.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't ready to get into a super, like, dark, demonic story.
Okay.
But I will.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah. It's because I'm under attack by karma right now, and my stupid ring light wants to kill me. So, anyway, back on topic. Okay. So, on the night of September 19th, 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were driving south through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, returning home after a vacation in Canada. It was late, the road was quiet, and the landscape was dark and remote. At some point during the drive, Betty noticed a bright light in the sky that seemed to be moving oddly. At first, she assumed it was a star, or maybe a satellite. But the longer they watched it, the more unsettling it became. The light didn't behave like anything they recognized. It appeared to change direction suddenly, moving up, down, sideways, at times seeming like it was like following their car. Barney eventually pulled over so he could get a better look using binoculars. And I was like, because who doesn't have a pair of binoculars in their car?
Yeah. He's like, I actually have a telescope too. Just
He's
in
like,
case.
let's check this out. Just in case I see something weird in the sky.
Yeah.
Hold on. Be serious when I flip this. As he focused on the object, he realized it wasn't a simple light at all. He described seeing a large disc-shaped craft hovering silently with what looked like rows of windows along its surface. And then, through those windows, Barney saw something that terrified him. He later said he could see figures looking back at him, humanoid in shape, but unmistakably not human.
Mm-hmm.
He described their eyes as large and slanted, saying later under hypnosis that they reminded him of cat's eyes, which If you're not a cat, it's not cute.
No.
It's so scary.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
what?
So sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you, but it was one of the stories I meant to tell you from, I don't know, he really gave us permission to tell these stories, but Julian, the tattoo artist. So maybe we cut this, but I still want to tell you it just really, really quick. He said that he would see this woman and she had cat eyes. And he's like, there was something like unsettling about her. And he's like, that's not normal, right? And he's like, I just remember it. And he would see her as a kid.
That's what a lot of the reptilian stories say.
Yeah.
They say they see either the eyes will be cat eyes or they'll see them like hiss. Like,
oh.
Yeah.
I hate
it's scary. There's so many stories. Actually, I love that he told you that because when I read those, I'm kind of like, yeah, right. But if it came from someone we actually know, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. And he was like, genuinely, he seemed like, he's like, I feel like I'm crazy when I tell people this stuff because like they don't believe me. And I'm just like, no, like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we can cut that, but it triggered my mind.
No, that's crazy. I love that stuff. So thank you for telling me. Later, while he was under hypnosis, Barney said he had the overwhelming sense that they were aware of him specifically and that he had made a mistake by observing them, which immediately, that is so scary.
Yeah.
Just being like, oh, shit.
To me, that says, keep running, never look behind you.
Drop those binoculars and take off.
Don't investigate further.
You saw something you weren't supposed to see. He also described a kind of mental pressure or command as if something was telling him he needed to comply.
Oh, no.
He didn't hear spoken words, but he felt a strong intrusive thought that he was not supposed to be there and that resistance would be useless.
Literally, resistance is futile? Isn't that like the famous like alien line?
Is it?
Resistance is futile?
I said resistance would be useless.
I know, but like that's basically the same thing.
Oh. I don't know.
Maybe that's where they got it from.
It could be because I say this later, but like this was one of the earliest documented abductions where stories after kind of mimicked it. So that's probably right. Sorry, I didn't know what futile meant.
Useless.
Okay. So it was futile. And that's when panic set in. He dropped the binoculars and ran, later saying the realization came all at once. They weren't just observing, they were intervening. So that's when he shouted, "They're gonna capture us," to his wife, and he's running back to the car. They sped away down the road, hearts pounding, but soon after, they heard a strange buzzing or beeping sound, like a series of rhythmic vibrations. That sound seemed to reverberate through the car and their bodies. And then suddenly, everything went quiet. When the couple became fully aware again, they found themselves 35 miles farther down the road than they remembered traveling. The drive had taken hours longer than it should have, and neither of them could recall what had happened during that missing stretch of time. When they finally arrived home, they noticed unsettling details almost immediately. Barney's shoes were scuffed and torn in strange ways. Betty's dress was ripped at the hem and zipper, and their watches had stopped working permanently. They both felt exhausted, shaken, and vaguely unwell, as though something traumatic had occurred just beyond their conscious memory. In the days and weeks that followed, Betty began experiencing intense, reoccurring nightmares in these dreams. In these dreams, she and Barney were stopped on the road by strange beings and taken aboard a craft. She dreamed of being separated from Barney, examined and spoken to by entities who communicated calmly but coldly, is how she described it. And when she also says, like, when they were communicating with her, it was like through her conscious mind.
Yeah. Hate that.
I know.
Just talking face to face.
Get out of my head.
It's a power move.
It is. Yeah. I feel like it is. I can't remember if I wrote this in here, but I know I definitely read it. But it was the Greys. Because they described them with gray skin, but I don't know if I wrote it.
I mean, I would take the
I did write it. Sorry.
No,
So, the dreams were so vivid and emotionally charged that Betty became convinced they were more than imagination. Barney, on the other hand, tried to push the experience away, but he began suffering from severe anxiety, stomach ulcers, and panic attacks whenever the incident was mentioned. Eventually, the couple sought help from psychiatrist Dr. Benjamin Simon, who specialized in hypnosis and trauma. Importantly, Dr. Simon hypnotized Betty and Barney separately, ensuring their accounts could not influence each other. Under hypnosis, both described the same sequence of events. They recalled being stopped on the road, surrounded by several non-human beings. The beings were described as short, grayish, with large heads and prominent eyes. The Hills said they were led up a ramp into a craft where they were taken into separate rooms. Betty recalled being examined with instruments and having a needle inserted into her abdomen.
Oh.
I know. But just the thought of that. And when she cried out in pain, the being performing the procedure appeared surprised and quickly stopped. She remembered one of them telling her, "It will not hurt if you don't struggle." I'm like, damn.
No, it seems to hurt whatever I do.
I know. And imagine hearing that in your head, too.
Yeah.
Get out there, man.
Get out of here. Get out of there.
Seriously. Violation, Grays. Betty also said that when she asked where the beings had come from, the leader produced a star map on a wall that she described in rich visual detail. The image was three-dimensional, like looking through a window. And the stars appeared to glow with tint and depth. She said the map was approximately 3 feet wide and 2 feet high, and that the pattern of stars covered most of it. Some stars were linked by lines, and she even noticed a small triangle off to the one side. This three-dimensional quality was unique. She said it was not flat like a typical chart, but it was like a hologram in space.
Holograms in space.
That sounds like a movie that I would watch. She also recounted that when she asked the being to show their location, the being instead asked her where she was on the map. He's like, "Can you point it out?" I just feel like it's like snarky, and I don't like the energy of the Grays.
Attitude,
Dicks.
unnecessary.
Like he's literally poking her with the needle.
He's like, "Do you know where South Africa is?
Do you know where you are, idiot?" I just imagine him as a Dwight. Idiot. According to her, she didn't know. And then the being replied something along the lines of, "If you don't know where you are, there wouldn't be a point in me telling you where I am."
Okay.
Really? I don't like him.
I assume it's a man.
Probably. Yeah. I don't know if they have genders, but if they did, man.
Yeah.
Man attitude for sure.
Or a really mean lady. Which then I respect.
I know. We love it when it's a woman. If it was a man, how dare you?
Don't talk to me that way.
Don't mansplain the star map to me.
First of all, do you
dick?
It sounds like you don't actually know where you are, which is why you don't want to tell me.
You didn't want to answer the question because you were embarrassed. Yeah. You're probably low-level rank Gray. Anyway, after hypnosis, Betty drew the map from memory, a pattern of stars connected by lines. Years later, astronomer Marjorie Fish, I knew you were going to love that name. Anyway, Marjorie analyzed the drawing and claimed it closely resembled the Zeta Reticuli star system, a binary star system 42 light years away. And this piece is really important because in the 1960s, this star system wasn't documented yet. So it wasn't until like years later after that she analyzed it. Mm. She also said that the star system didn't look like anything we would typically see, like any like of the major ones. So it's just like the fact that she was able to like draw that, it was so like particular that it just makes it even more wild, in my opinion. Barney's experience was deeply disturbing. Under hypnosis, he became visibly distressed, describing a device placed over his eyes in intense fear that the beings were going to remove them. At one point during a session, Barney broke down, sobbing, repeatedly saying, "Oh, my eyes." Which is like terrifying, man.
Eye stuff?
No.
Mm-mm.
Dr. Simon later noted that Barney's emotional response appeared genuine and uncontrollable, consistent with deep trauma rather than fabrication. As the story became public, it drew massive attention. The Hills were interviewed by UFO researchers, journalists, and government agencies. The FBI opened a file on the case, more so to report it as an incident than to prove that it actually happened. They're like, we just got to document it. I feel like they know about the aliens and they're like, well, they stepped out of bounds. We just got to write this down. Yeah. They're like, we know what happened.
Guys, this is like incident number 37.
Keep your grays under control. Where are the reptilians at? The documents, I know.
Don't bring them up again.
I know. The TikTok's finally doing a little better. So. Don't want to cross them again.
We're going to get another incident report.
I almost made a clip of that part. I was like, don't do it.
Don't even push it. We're finally in the good graces.
So the documents were released to the public, and in there you can see where they write about the psychological impact that this event had on both of them. It also documents the damage to the car and their clothes. In 1966, author John G. Fuller published The Interrupted Journey, which brought the story into the national spotlight. Unlike many later abduction cases, the Hills never sought fame or profit. In fact, the attention caused them considerable stress. And Barney in particular struggled deeply with the memories until his death in 1969, which that is very sad.
Yeah.
What makes the Hill case so significant is that it established the template for modern alien abduction narratives. So kind of like what I was saying, missing time, medical examinations, non-human beings.
But I think that's interesting, like drawing the parallel between like Alison and them is like the victims don't want like media attention.
That's how you know. It's like, well, I mean, with her, you obviously know it's true because,
yes.
But like with these, it's like, I feel like that's how you know it's true too, because it's like, why wouldn't you want the money?
Versus like the Amityville people where it was like, they were just craving the attention. They're like, we'll talk to a paper box.
They're like, who wants to talk to me? Yeah. Give me my screen time.
They're actively reaching out to like media outlets and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's like they're dealing, and then the real ones, like the Alison case and like this one, they're dealing with trauma and they're just trying to forget it. They don't want to like.
It's like the attention is coming because of how crazy the story is, not versus like them just trying to like tell their story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And another case of us telling stories that kind of, I mean, they're not the same, but like finding, you know what I'm trying to say.
I get you. Yeah.
But anyway, what I was saying, so the missing time, medical examinations, non-human beings, hypnosis, recovered memories, star maps, psychological trauma, all this stuff. These elements appear again and again in later cases, often nearly identical in structure. Betty Hill would later say that she never expected anyone to believe her. She simply wanted to understand what happened. And it's a quote from her. "I know what I experienced. It changed my life forever." Well, that was the story of Betty and Barney Hill.
I feel like I've heard their names before, but I never actually knew the story.
I don't know if I mentioned it too in another story, like as a short story or something, because when I was reading it, I was like, this sounds very familiar. But then I feel like they just said there's a lot of similarities in alien abduction stories, so it could have just been that too. But yeah.
Well, I liked it.
Thank you. Okay, well, that wraps up our episode today. If you want to email us,
IGSTTYstories@gmail.com.
Or you can drop us a DM or a comment on social media.
IGSTTYpod. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you want to plug how they can find our events? Well, you can find them on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, you can find them on Instagram. We have the link in our bio. We have the Meetup app, so you can actually RSVP too. So that, I mean, you could see if other people are going. It's a way to meet people. That's kind of why we started using it, because it's like, we're building a community here.
Yeah.
So
share it with your friends, see who's into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully we see you guys at the live show.
Yeah. Later.
Thanks for listening.